Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you've had a great summer. I want to take a little bit of your time, not a lot of time. Hopefully, you're able to just watch this video at your convenience and you don't have to spend a whole lot of time trying to figure things out. We're trying to make this as an easy process as possible for you to connect with advisory lessons and to help you have a really good experience with your advisory period this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk you through some of the process of advisory, show you where you can find the materials and all of that. So nothing too fancy, just kind of the generic basic stuff, straightforward, so that it's easy to find. Well, I should actually start here. So I'm going to go to Google Folders. And in your Google Drive, you will be invited to a folder called 2022-23 Advisory Materials. When you click into that folder, you're going to see something that looks like this. Everything divided by week throughout the school year. Now, some of these weeks are still a work in process. Not everything is done perfectly, but the first ranking period is ready to roll. So the first thing you'll find way at the bottom probably, and I know that some people had arranged this differently, but there's this advisory lesson booklet. And the booklet is what I started to scroll through. And it's basically all of the materials all in one place. So if you don't want to click through a bunch of folders and subfolders and try to pick and hunt for the materials, you can go to this document and everything will be in there. So if you scrolled way down, you'll be able to see lessons and activities that are already there with the lesson plans already set up. And you'll be able to just go to one place. It's also something that will be in PDF form, and if you want to just download it, keep it on your computer, print the materials as you need, you can do that too. So everything's going to be in that one document. So as a fail-safe, and you don't want to hunt for things, or hey, you know what, you're busy and you just want to go and get the nitty-gritty, that's where it's going to be. There will be some family SEL lessons to come, as well as some teacher SEL lessons to come. Those are still in development. We're also working on some special lessons for scenarios that may come up from time to time throughout the year. And those will be there. There's also a subfolder called organizational material. One of the things that you're going to want to do early on is set up to set up a syllabus for your class. And then there is also in there something called this SEL timeline. So if you're wondering what the lessons are throughout the year for each grade, you can look into this SEL lessons timeline, and you can kind of see in real time the lessons and how they're set up and how they're ready to go. Okay? But really, everything's going to be housed right into this folder, 2022-23 advisory materials by week. It's important to note that week one, and I'm going to click into week one right here. Week one has a couple of lessons. Lesson 1A is intended to run during Mod 1-2 on Thursday, the first day of school. Lesson 1A is how to do the add drop and how to contact your counselor if you want to make a change. So what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to click right into this Lesson 1A advisor page, and you'll get the entire lesson plan. There's an introduction and a context for the lesson, so as you understand why this lesson is being done. All of the indicators and standards are all listed there for you, so you understand that there's kind of a point and purpose to it, some of the goals of the lesson, and then a very easy to follow lesson plan. Very short, simple. I like to call it substitute proof. Any an intellectual adult that walks in off the street could run this lesson. And you as education professionals, your expertise, you can probably take any of these lessons and expand upon them and make them grow in just about any direction. So these are just basic step-by-step recipe style lesson plans with all of the necessary links there. So in this lesson, since you're teaching a student, I'll just use this as an example. If you're teaching a student how to do the add drop process, most of you are very familiar with what the first day of school is like, and kids want to be in the same study hall with their friends, and they want to switch their lunch, and they teacher hunt, and they try to rearrange the schedule, and some of them are pretty panicky about it. So we want to create as much calm and order as possible. Not to mention the fact if each one of you sent 2 students to the office, you think, well, it's not that big a deal, just going to send a couple of students down. But if every teacher does that, then there's 150 students in the guidance office all at the same time. It creates a traffic jam, and it's so much more difficult to help people. So we've got this process set up. We want you to do the first advisory lesson actually with your Mod 1-2 class. All the other lessons will be in the regular advisory period. But you follow these steps through, and all of the materials that you need. There's a quick 5-minute video that's posted onto YouTube, and you can show that to the students, and that tells them what to do. There is an add drop handout, so you can click on this link, or you can go back to the folder, and the add drop process handout is right here. So that handout is this document right here. So you can go to the lesson plan, you can click on the link there, or you can go to the folder directly if you want to. This link is a Google form, so that the students want to make a schedule change request, they have to use the Google form. So they stay in your room, they get on their laptops, and they make their request from there. As is the case with every lesson in advisory will always have a feedback loop. And the feedback loop is for students and teachers. So if you have a comment or a question or a suggestion on how to make the lesson better, how it was a great lesson, how it was an awful lesson, how I should be run out of town, whatever you want to say, you can use the Google form. So as the teacher, you could click on that and you'll get a Google form, and you can send your comments. The nice thing about that is it houses all the comments for that lesson in one place, and it'll archive them so that we can go back and make improvements to these things in the future. There is a feedback link for Google form for students, and basically for exactly the same thing. So if you get lost in it, I put the links down here again as well. The handout, by the way, I just want to say one last thing about the handout. It's helpful if you open that document and print it and give it to the students, because one of the things that's on that handout is the Calendly links to all of the school counselors. You can click on them there, and they take you right to the scheduling page, but the students need to know them. You can also put these up on the board and let the students take a look at them, and maybe they can type them into their computers and bookmark them so that they can come back to it at a later time if they need to. So basically, all of that information is in here. Let's say, for example, you're in a room on a particular day, the construction is coming through the ceiling, and you don't have technology for that day. You are also welcome to print out the documents. So you could click on the add drop request form, and you could print out a hard copy, and the student can fill it out and drop it off at the guidance office. Same thing for your teacher comment form, the handout, your advisor page if you want to have your notes in hand. All of those things are there. You also see that there's a lesson 1B in here. Lesson 1B is for the actual advisory period, and this one is about Labor Day. Since Labor Day is coming up on Monday, one of the things that we are doing as themes for advisory are holidays and special days throughout the year. Labor Day is the first one, so it's a nice kind of softball type of thing. It's an easy go. You can walk through this lesson plan, and It'll give the students a good idea of what to expect with advisory, and then run with it. Okay. You can always check out all of the other lessons. You can certainly use the this lesson timeline if you've got suggestions or ideas about lessons that are coming up later on. You're welcome to let us know some of the things that you think and how you think they might be a good idea, bad idea, anything. We're open to all of your comments and information. The other thing that I do want to point out to you, if you go to the advisory lesson booklet, there's a lot of information about how the advisory is set up. There's a letter that we drafted in here. There's the calendar. So if you want to know, it's kind of like our syllabus for advisory. So if you want to know what the weekly schedule looks like, what the bell schedule looks like for Tuesday, Thursday versus Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's in there. But also there is a lengthy explanation of the rationale behind the lessons, why they're set up the way they are. And just in a nutshell, the academic program is and always will be the core of what we're doing, but the strength of the academic program is built on strong social emotional foundations with career and life goals, kind of helping to move people into greater levels of success. So you can kind of, if this is something that you can consume on your own, there's no need for us to give you a lengthy presentation about it. But if you're interested and want to know why things are the way they are, there's all kinds of information in here. Information about the human rights education arm, about the social emotional learning arm, as well as the career and life goals, DEI, and how all of these things are connected, career prep, and then of course the standards and how we're making sure that we're covering these skills. So all of that is in here, and you're certainly welcome to take a look at it. And I'm always interested in hearing some feedback as to what you're thinking about it. So I hope this is helpful. It is a less than 15-minute video, which is certainly better than a 3-hour in-service presentation. So I hope that works well for you. And I hope that gets you started, and looking forward to great conversations about advisory, and I wish you well and have a wonderful school year. And thanks for listening.